Ahoy. So, I'm a 6'5" primal dieter who eats like pound up to 2 pounds of raw meat a day. My name is Jirka, by the way. And this is a funny story of how over the course of past few years, I worked and lived with strictly vegetarian Hinduists, known as Hare Krishnas. You probably know them. It's annoying guys in orange robes trying to sell you some books on the street in the city, and I worked with them on their farms, and there was no meat, so and I was on the primal diet at that time, so I had to compensate by drinking nothing but raw milk, like copious amounts of raw milk, and this is the story of how it went several times I worked there. It's not, there is zero information or value in this video. It's just entertainment, honestly. Probably my entertainment because I'm going to have fun telling the story. So I work on this farm. I worked on a farm. That's about it, what I could say. And while driving a bus to the farm, because I had no car, I was young. I was like 17 or something. Yeah, 17, I think. Yeah, 17. And I was riding a bus and I met this funny looking guy who had like fucking some face paint and some books and some orange robes. And I thought he was like some religious guy or whatever. And I remember reading this book called the Bhagavad Gita, and it sounds familiar if you like watched Oppenheimer, like that movie of the guy who made the atom bomb. So long before the movie actually released, like years before, uh, there was this clip of Oppenheimer, the actual guy who made the atom bomb, reading from this religious book called the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a book about this guy going to war, and he's supposed to fight his relatives in that war, and he has the incarnation of God, something like Jesus, by his side, but in the Indian mythology, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I don't want to kill my fucking siblings in this war. Why?" And long story short, there some shit happens. The guy has a psychedelic trip in the 11th chapter, and at some point, God tells him in that book, "I am become death, the destroyer of the worlds," to explain why he looks so terrifying in his cosmic form or whatever. And I've read the book. I've read Bhagavad Gita because I seen the Oppenheimer clip of him saying it. I seen it in some fucking edit on fucking YouTube or something, and I decided it was interesting, and I read the whole book because of it. And this book, it's a good book, but the only way you can get it in Western civilization most of the time is with commentary of this guy called Prabhupada, which is the founder of Hare Krishna. And it so happens this book is like the core text of Hare Krishna, not the core, but the most basic text which the Hare Krishna people like respect or read or whatever. And there are a lot of commentaries by the Hare Krishna founder in that book. And originally, this Hare Krishna religion, I'm not going to get into depths of Indian religion because that could be a fucking hour-long video. But it evolved. It wasn't like established to be the Hare Krishna religion since beginning of time. There was some Indian religion, and the Bhagavad Gita was part of this religion. And then the Hare Krishnas came along, and they interpreted the texts like, "Hey, these are our books." And in this Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing about chanting Hare Krishna or whatever. But this Hare Krishna founder, actually the God tells you to chant Om, like Om, instead of chanting Hare Krishna. But the Hare Krishna founder actually wrote a lot of commentaries on each verse of the book. And I didn't actually read them, I just read the normal book. I didn't care about the commentaries and interpretations. But often I would like glance through them, and I've seen like some Hare Krishna garbage. Like, you have to chant Hare Krishna and whatever. I didn't know what the hell does it mean. I actually didn't understand it. But I've just seen the term Hare Krishna. And at some point in a radio, I've heard a song by Boy George, or how he's called. And it goes like, "Bow down, mister, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna," and something. So I figured out that Hare Krishna is a mantra which you like chant. And people who like this book chanted the mantra or something. So I was riding on a bus, yeah. I probably lost you, but I'm this 6'5" guy eating raw meat, riding on a bus to a farm, so I can have money for raw meat and raw milk. And I met this funny looking guy, and I figured out, oh, and I've seen his books, and I've seen like, oh, he has Bhagavad Gita. So he's like these Hare Krishna people. So I went to him, and I told him, hey, Hare Krishna, question mark. And then we went talking, and basically I figured out he's part of some Indian-based religion, which is like pre-Christian religion, and I'm interested in pre-Christian religions because, you see, I have my hammer, and I don't like the fact that he worships an Indian tradition instead of like European religion, but whatever. I thought it was interesting, and he gave me like a card with address to his farm. Like, they have a community and a farm, like farm in the middle of nowhere, where they like live without electricity and worship their god, their Krishna god, on that farm. So I decided eventually to go there. I visited them, and I was looking around and basically making myself familiar with their farm. And then I figured out they have cows, they have dairy, they have raw milk. That's interesting. And then I met the guy who owns the cows, who have the raw milk, and I asked if I could like buy raw milk regularly from him, because he was like, the farm was close to not that close, but it would be possible for me to buy milk from him, or to get some milk when I was still there on the farm. And we were walking near his field, and he was like, hey bro, I need someone to work on my field. And like, I did some soil work, like there was some thing with dirt or something which I had to dig, so I dug it, and there were other people working with me, and because they were all skinny and fragile vegetarians, they worked for a few hours and then they stopped. But because I'm a jacked primal dieter who looks like this, without almost without exercising, I went for hours in the sun. I blasted some audiobook or some YouTube video which I downloaded as MP3, and I just dig in and I dug for hours, like 5 hours of straight work, like working like a fucking black guy. Sorry, I probably have to censor this, yeah. I was just working a lot. And then that guy came and he was like, bro, you work really hard, I could have you on my field. And I was like, I don't know, bro, I'm already employed on a farm, I can buy like raw milk there. And he was like, oh, so you work on a farm and you can buy raw milk there. What if I told you that you can work on my farm and you're gonna get the raw milk for free? And I thought to myself like, interesting. Could you do like, I cannot eat any raw meat here because you guys are vegetarian, but can you do like a gallon of raw milk a day? And he was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. We have few cows. And the rest is history. So basically, I then went on his farm and I worked there, and I ate for like a month. I think I ate like, no, it wasn't strict yet. That was a different period. But at this time, I worked there for 5 days on and weekend off. So I worked there for 5 days, eating absolutely nothing and just drinking like gallon of raw milk every single day. And this was like summer, like the summer was beginning, and I was doing hard labor. Like I don't know how to I think it's weeding in English. Like you have this machine and you basically do bench press a million times a day with doing this. It has like a wheel, and behind the wheel there is like an iron, and you are between crops on a field, and there are these weeds around pumpkins and watermelons and stuff which you need to kill, which you need to destroy. And so I went the whole day, every day, in the summer, shirtless, burning myself for hours. Like I worked like 10 hours a day on average, at least. And I did this bench press a million times a day for days, and I had absolutely no food, only like raw milk, only a gallon of milk a day. And I was running out of milk too fast, so there is this thing which agents recommended, which a guy called Scott Hall recommends a lot, is that you sip any liquid instead of drinking it fast. And basically the idea is if you drink anything faster than 1 ounce a minute, 1 ounce is like how many? Like 1 tablespoon. If you drink more than 1 ounce a minute, then you are going to piss almost everything out. So you need to drink only like 1 ounce a minute. Well, in order to save myself raw milk, while working 10 hours a day minimum outside in summer, like when I got sunburned, I didn't stop working. There was no shade. What I had to do is like take long sleeves, hat. I don't use hat anymore because hat grows on my head. But like hat, long sleeves, and like long everything. And I was being just burned alive, but I wasn't getting my skin burned because I was like covered with my clothes. Like, yeah, why the fuck will you use sunscreen? You can just put clothes on. And then I got adapted and I didn't get sunburned anymore. But it was very hot and I was working very hard and I had raw milk. So in order to save raw milk, I drank 1 ounce a minute. And that's very fucking hard when you work like this, in heat like this. And I was very thirsty, but I was very disciplined. What I did is that I got like a phone and headphones, and I got like an interval timer, which would go off every minute. Or not every minute, but like every 5 minutes or something. I will have headphones, I would listen to an audiobook, and every 5 minutes, it would go beep, beep, beep. And then it was like a signal for me to go and drink 1 ounce of raw milk, and then come back. And then wait desperately and thirstily for another beep in 5 minutes to go and take another sip. And I was doing this all day. And despite drinking 1 ounce a minute, I mean 1 ounce a minute at most, like usually 1 ounce like 5 minutes, I still drank like 4 liters of raw milk a day, because you can drink so much if you drink all day long. And during a pause, when I just sat down in the shade, I will do the same thing. I will take a different timer, and I will have a timer every minute. I will just sit and wait for the timer, like some fucking machine, which is programmed to drink milk in regular intervals. Holy shit. So yeah, I did this. And the thing is, then I went home on the weekends, and I ate ton of raw meat to compensate, because it was very physically demanding, and I could feel my muscles being sore and my body being tired. So I ate a ton of raw meat on the weekends. But I was like, I wasn't really strict on the diet. So what I did, it was like 4 years ago already. No, sorry. It was like 2 or 3. I'm too lazy to count. But what I did is I drank like, non-alcoholic beer. Like, I was on Primal, but it was too hot, and I still wanted some cold drink to enjoy. Because, you cannot drink raw milk cold, because then you have a diarrhea, or you digest it badly. You need to let it warm to room temperature. Unless it's kefir and it's pre-digested, then it doesn't matter. Because when it's too cold, it will dilute it will like disable your stomach acid, and you don't digest the protein or something. But when it's like kefir, when it's fermented, it doesn't matter if it's cold, because then it's already pre-digested. It doesn't matter, it turns off your acid. But what I did is I wanted something cold to like reward myself for working in that heat. So what I did, I won't do this anymore. Now I will take like a spring water with raw eggs and honey and apple cider vinegar and drink that. But what I did is I had non-alcoholic beer. But there's a caveat. If you ever want to like cheat on the diet and drink like non-alcoholic beer, then you don't go and buy non-alcoholic beer in the store, because usually you are retarded and you buy like Birel or something which is in like a can, like an aluminum can, which either gives you fucking aluminum inside of the liquid, or worse, it gives maybe better, that's discutable. Every single can has like plastic lining, so the metals don't get in. So you are drinking basically fucking plastic if you drink non-alcoholic beer or any beverage from aluminum can. There's plastic and you're drinking plastic, and that's fucking estrogenic. So you don't drink from can, but you don't even just pick a beer, non-alcoholic beer, and drink from glass, because then you look at the ingredients and you see that there is like fucking lactic acid, or artificial CO2, or fucking extract from pops instead of normal pops. It's basically, to make beer you need like pops, and the problem with pops is it's like it's more estrogenic than soy. Like, the reason why people who drink a lot of beer have beer bellies and tits is because it's more estrogenic than soy. Like, the alcohol isn't as bad as the hops. Yeah, not pops, but hops. Hops is just estrogenic as hell. So if you want to drink a non-alcoholic beer, then you are still going to get hops in it, which is estrogenic. And I was aware of that, and I still drank that because I wanted some fun, some cold liquid, just to make quenching my thirst. I get thirsty talking about this. And basically, you want non-alcoholic beer with just like hops in it, okay? But you don't want anything with just like a hops extract in it, because sometimes they put a fucking whole extract of hops. It's like having hops in that beer times 100. It's like if it has hops extract instead of just hops, it's way more estrogenic. So you have to avoid that. Also, I tried a lot of these beers, and even those who had hops extract in them instead of hops, and I hated them because they taste more bitter, they taste worse. Like, the bitter part of the beer, which makes the beer taste bad, is like made stronger. The bad taste is made stronger if it's hops extract. So it needs to be glass, it needs to have hops instead of normal, like, needs to have hops instead of hops extract. Then it also doesn't have, it isn't that much of a deal, but it's kind of lame if it has artificial CO2, like artificial bubbles. When there are non-alcoholic beers which have natural bubbles formed by the fermentation. So you look at the ingredients, no hops extract, it's not in a can, it doesn't have the fucking artificial bubbles, but real bubbles. And the final thing is that tap water, like obviously beer is probably made of tap water or some shit. Well, in the Czech Republic there are two brands. I looked at every single fucking non-alcoholic beer to have some fun. That's how autistic I am. So I was cheating, but not quite. I was cheating very intelligently. And there are two brands. One is called like, it's like Budweiser or some shit. It's probably big in Europe. And the other is like, whoa, it's like something Italian, like Renegant. I don't know. They don't pay me for a sponsorship, so who gives a shit? But basically, instead of having regular water in the ingredients list, they have like water from the 274 meters deep artesian wells. I don't know what the hell that is, but it sounds a lot better than just plain water, which is probably full of chloride and fucking birth control hormones. So I've had that. And why I'm talking about this is I literally sat down on my TV. I came back from work. I got my legs on the table. I chilled out. I put on Netflix, put on some Stranger Things or Better Call Saul or something like that. And I picked up the beer and I had that, the like from freezer or the fridge or something, the healthiest non-alcoholic beer which I could find. And what I'm getting at, I will get my phone. I will start the timer on every like minute, or minute or 2 minutes or some time period. And every minute I will be watching Netflix, and every minute it will go like beep. I will take my non-alcoholic beer and I will take a sip. And then I will sit it down and I will wait again for the next beep. Beep. It was so autistic. Like, my mother thought I was fucking retarded. It's like, I'm not doing this anymore, but it's just so funny to remember it. Like, I was like some machine. It was so stupid to do that. So eventually, but surprisingly, I could do this for a long time. It was like a month until I stopped. But in the end, I just couldn't hold the discipline in the heat, and I just started drinking as much as I wanted. Well, I don't drink like gulp. Like, when you drink, you never should gulp like gog gog, because you indeed are going to piss everything out. But what I do on the Primal Diet now is that I drink as much as I want at once, but I sip the smallest pieces I can. So I sip the smallest pieces of liquid, and yeah, but I basically sip very small pieces. But I can sip for a minute straight. So you don't gulp, you drink as much as you can, at once if you want, but as slow as you can, so you piss the least amounts of liquids out. But that's when I drink something like raw milk or whey or something I drink for hydration. If I drink something very rich, something with just a lot of nutrients, which I don't want to piss out, like the lubrication formula or thick milkshake with a lot of eggs in it, then I will drink slower. Then I will take like few ounces a minute. Because I absolutely don't know how the hell do you drink 1 ounce a minute without a timer if you are thirsty. Because you are just I will be just staring at the drink and I will be waiting. Has the minute passed it? And I will be wanting to drink more and more. I wouldn't have the discipline to just sip and leave it and forget it. Fuck that. I'm thirsty, I want to drink. And if I didn't have the timer to tell me, okay, now you can drink, then I will be drinking sooner than after 1 minute all the time. Yeah. So I worked there. It was a lot of hard work, doing bench press all the fucking time. Yeah, then sometimes I would be watering plants. And I was so hot, I was so dying, so I will be just taking the, I don't know how to call it, the thing for watering the plants, and I would just drink water, probably even chug it like straight from it because I was dying in the heat. Another thing which I can note, which is kind of off topic on the farm with the Hare Krishnas, is that they are vegetarian, but their diet is like, I thought to myself they have the worst diet in the world, because if you are a vegan or you eat some shit diet, then you are eventually going to stop. Like if you are a vegan, you have a very bad diet, but it's kind of good because your diet is so bad that eventually you are going to stop your diet and eat something better. It's a transition phase to something better. But the Hare Krishnas, they eat a diet which is very bad, it's vegetarian, but at the same time, it's good enough for you to eat it for a lifetime without running in that much of issues, which means you can stick to it for a long time, which means you're just bound to stick to it, and that makes it very bad, because they eat like normal Indian food, like, I don't know, like fucking pumpkins and grains and vegetables and fruits and sugar and garbage, but the thing is, they eat a fuck ton of ghee. What ghee is like clarified butter, but I will say ghee. It's like when you take butter and you heat it, and then you let it get cold again, then it has no water in it, and it's like ghee. It's clarified butter now. It's thicker, and they use it like oil, and they eat it in every single food they eat. And to give you a perception of how much of this, it's like fat. It's very good. It's very healthy. It's like it's made from pasteurized butter anyway, and it's like cooked. It has like no nutrition, but it has a ton of fat. It's saturated fat. And it's healthy as fuck even though it's heated. And to give you an idea of how much saturated fat they eat of this ghee, like imagine eating nothing but McDonald's and eating a fuck ton of French fries every single meal for your entire life. But the McDonald's, instead of being fried in seed oils, it's fried in animal fat, in ghee, in the butter. That's how much ghee they eat. They eat so much fat. They cope with eating so much ghee and like yogurts and other milk products, and also paneer. It's called paneer in Czech, I don't know in English, but it's basically, do you know how you make raw unsalted cheese? You take milk, you, like in this glass, you wait until it gets rotten, then it separates into like whey and like curds. And then you put it into a strainer, and then you have the whey drip out, and then you have like the cheese left over. You have like the cottage cheese left over, and it gets dry, and then you have cottage cheese. That's raw unsalted cheese. You know how that is made, right? According to Edgeless. Paneer, this cheese they eat all of the time, is just that, but they are like too retarded to wait for the milk to ferment. So what they do is they boil it and put some acid or some lemon or something in it. So they boil it, and it separates into like this cheese thing and into the whey by boiling instead of fermentation. So they destroy all of the nutrition. There is no nutrition left in it. Like, there's just protein basically. And from all of their milk, they either do like yogurt with sugar, or they do this paneer thing, this not raw unsalted cheese, or ghee, like the butter. and then most of the time they take this cheese and they fry it in ghee, and they eat it like every single day. So it's very poor in nutrition and like micronutrients, but it gives them enough fat and protein to live by and develop and just live. All of them have like terrible health because of this diet. Like if they are young, then they are probably like healthier than the average people. Because they don't eat candy and drugs and garbage, but they are still high of sugar all the time and eat this diet. So what the pattern with them is that usually they are healthier than normal people when they are like 20 to like 30, but after 40 or after 30 they start to deteriorate, and they get like there are some people who look strong and are just built like farmers and shit, but a lot of these people are just, they have like gynecomastia, some of them, they are skinny, like they are very fucking skinny. They have no muscle mass a lot of the times. They have acne, and almost all of them have like hair loss. Like all of them shave their heads so they don't give a shit. But when their hair grows a bit, you can see their hairlines, which are terrible. On like 90% of men after 30 in Hare Krishna, they have like destroyed hairlines, like completely. And just they get health issues, like this guy says, like, oh yeah, I have this issue when something cold touches my skin, it starts to like be very, very unpleasant and I need to scratch it. Or I have back problems, or I have these like a lot of health problems between them. The woman, I don't actually know that much. Like, the woman actually look normal, I would say. Yeah, so there's this, that the old people are falling apart on this diet, but it's good enough to hold them and keep them alive, unlike a vegan diet. But why I brought this up is I see something completely different with the children of Hare Krishnas. Because they eat this diet, which is high in fat and protein and dairy in general, and they eat absolutely no drugs, they eat no chocolate, they eat sugar, a ton of sugar, okay. But yeah, they eat fuck ton of sugar and sweets and pies and stuff, but all of this they cook themselves. They never give them like candy with like 20 million ingredients. And in the restaurants they often use seed oil, so these children probably maybe like grow up eating some seed oils, but way less than the average population, like average Joe, like the NPCs out there. And sometimes maybe they eat some shit, but most of the times they eat clean. They don't eat any poisonous garbage, and they eat ton of dairy, they eat ton of ghee, they eat ton of saturated animal fat, like such a ton. It's so healthy. Like they are vegetarian, they eat no meat and not even eggs. They think eggs are just like meat, like bad. But the thing is, with the children, they grow up to be beautiful most of the time, because their diet, even though it's lacking in things to develop them very well, it's also lacking in poisons and garbage to make them look like monsters, like fucking candy and seed oils. Like the children of the Hare Krishnas look literally like looksmaxers. Like the males look like fucking sharp. They look like in 1930s Germany, under you know which government, you could see like propaganda of blonde people and blonde children with beautiful features. Hare Krishna babies look like that. Hare Krishna children who are like 5 years old look like that. They look better developed than I do in the face, even though they are vegetarian, because of how much dairy they eat. Like even without meat, if they are not getting poisoned and they live outside in nature in the sunlight all of the time, they just develop very well compared to the average population. They maybe not grow up to be that tall, but it's not an ideal way to develop. But I could say that maybe a human has like better odds to develop to be attractive and good looking and healthy growing up on a Hare Krishna diet than on average population's diet, where you just eat candy and fucking ramens and microwaved garbage. And the female children of Hare Krishnas, they never cut their hair. So when they are like 10 years old or something, They have like hair up to their waist and they have like braids. Just if you see these children, then they look like fucking gems among normal children who have like underbites and glasses and round backs. It's really interesting how these people develop. Like people who are old from Hare Krishnas, they grew up eating like our diets, so they develop to be sick. And then they get on this diet and they eventually fucking die because of it, because they just need to heal themselves from the damage which has been done from them during their development, and they are not going to heal themselves eating the diet, which is very deficient. But if you grow up without being poisoned as one of these Hare Krishna children, and you are raised up and you are used to this diet, then it's probably going to be enough for you. Yeah, that's interesting. Whatever point. Yeah, this video has fucking. I go around the topic, so yeah, it's a story, whatever. You probably listen to this as a hike on the middle of nowhere and you don't care. You just, yeah, go on, talk about anything, it's fun. So, yeah, actually, how does it fucking end up when one of these Hare Krishna children grows up? When they get like become adults? Well, I've met several people who were born as these children, and they're like 20 or 30, no, like 20 now. One of them, he's like, that guy, he's called Prahlad, and he was born in Hare Krishna, the movement, and he lives on a farm in Czech Republic with them, but he doesn't live on the farm when they're like, worship God and they're strictly vegetarian and don't take drugs and everything. He lives on there's like this hill next to the farm, and he lives in like a tent shed. Do you know who Ted Kaczynski was? And do you know how his like shed looked like, the small thing? Imagine that thing, but like half the size or less, and without the door, just having like a blanket instead of a door. He lives in there, like even during the winter, in a sleeping bag. And on that hill, what he does is he has campfires all of the time, and he sings like the Hare Krishna songs his way. He drums on a drum and takes a lot of Amanita muscaria and psilocybin mushrooms there. He basically takes drugs all the not just these. He even drinks like the poppy tea or something. He like smokes weed. He just takes all of the drugs which you can take, and most of them being mushrooms, and most of the mushrooms being Amanita muscaria mushrooms. And he just terrible lifestyle, full of drugs for a long time. And he's like a fucking some shaman, fucking wanderer archetype. It's like so epic a person like him exists. Well, what he is like, he grew up on their diet as a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. He still doesn't eat meat. However, he eats mushrooms. Not only like drug mushrooms, but he eats like the edible mushrooms, which you can like eat like I don't know how you fucking call a mushroom in English, like rib or fucking jedla. I don't know. And he eats these, but still he's a vegetarian. He drinks alcohol too, obviously, and smokes cigarettes, obviously. Just an addict. And what he looks like is he's fucking almost as tall as me. I'm like 6'5". He's like, I don't know, 6'3". And he has like long hair, like longer than me. He has like, how you call it in English? Like in Czech it's like dready, but when you have like messy hair, which is like not brushed for ears, and you have like this fucking cobra, you know what I mean? The thing which black people and rappers usually have. How do you fucking call it? I don't know. The Snoop Dogg thing. He has these, and he has like a Viking beard. He has like the thickest beard I have ever seen in my entire life. Like I have met like 40 or 50 years olds who were raised up in a village where they slaughtered their own pigs, and then they ate sausages from their blood and ate their organs, and he grew up on that. And then he was turned 40 and he didn't cut his beard for years, and he has like fucking thick beard. I've met people like that here in Central Europe, in Czech Republic. But this 20-year-old who is addicted to drugs, who eats more hallucinogenic mushrooms than actual food, who is probably undernourished, who is just the worst lifestyle possible for physical development, who grew up as a vegetarian, has the thickest beard ever, and had like thicker beard than old 50-year-old fucking men who grew up on villages when they're butchered their own pigs. Like, how the fuck did the Hare Krishnas do that? I fucking doubt it's like, maybe it's genetics, but like, he developed so well, and his like facial features were like so good. Like, Luke Smexers like would really fucking want to be that guy, because he isn't the only one. Then I met another guy who was born as a Hare Krishna. He was like, I don't know, 17 to 20, maybe 22, something around that. And he was an actual, like, not priest, monk. He was one of the monks. And he had, he was clean shaven, had everything shaved, except the thing here, like Hare Krishnas do. And it was on this festival called Ratha Yatra. And I met that guy, and he was like, no homo, but he was like he had like the most attractive skull shape which I have ever seen in real life on a male. Like, his brow ridge was so pronounced, his eyebrows, his jaw was so sharp. Do you know that Samburu guy from the clip, the documentary about the African blood warriors with the skinny tall black guys, with which Goat like reacted to? When there's this like guy who has like this thing on his head, and he's like watching on the camera like that guy, the famous guy who you see like edits on the Instagram of that guy all of the time, like he's the peak masculine or something. This Hare Krishna guy, he looked exactly like that, but white. I'm not kidding. He looked exactly like fucking that. Maybe different, but the aura was the same. Like the way that the black guy from the Samburu tribe looked, like the thing you saw in his eyebrows. He had the same thing, this Hare Krishna guy. And he grew up as a fucking vegetarian, and he was tall as well. So, yeah, that's, I don't know how to explain that. Probably like a diet very high in animal fats, like very fucking high, a fuck ton of ghee. Like, if I see people who grew up vegetarian, who develop this well, just because they are not being poisoned by eating candy, and have a bunch of animal fat, I wonder how the fuck will people who grow up eating raw meat and raw dairy look like. That's going to be awesome. Like, holy hell. But where can I continue? Yeah, I finished this job. It was very strenuous. And I remember after end of the month, when I finished the last thing, then I was completely destroyed. I was just mowing from my last reserves of strength, because so fucking hard, man, that work. And at the end, when I did the last thing, I remember I laid down for a second, and I really, really wanted to get up and drink raw milk to get protein to fix myself, because I used to go to the gym a lot, and there is this mindset in the gym, like, within 30 minutes of working out, you need to have some protein, so you don't lose muscle, so you can repair, so you have something to repair your muscle from. So I was like, holy fuck, okay, and now I finished working. I have to go and get raw milk, get protein. It's of most, like, I'm so exhausted, I need raw milk to not lose muscle. I just need raw milk. I laid down and yeah, I'm going to get the raw milk. I need it really fast. I was so tired. I laid down and fall asleep before drinking the raw milk. Like, I literally fell down, and I I with the thought of me having to get up to drink raw milk to not lose muscle on my mind. I fell asleep at like fucking 2 p.m. in the middle of the fucking noon fire of the sunlight in the middle of the day, and slept for like half an hour before I was able to get up and drink the raw milk. So this ended, and then after like, it was a year or 2 years after, like in the fall of, 2 years after, I think, I moved on a different Hare Krishna farm, where I was promised more milk, and because they have more cows, way more milk. There they had like 8 liters of raw milk a day on this farm, which I worked at first, and I drank like 4 to 5 liters of them, and they weren't very happy with that. On this new farm, they told me they have like fucking 100 liters of raw milk a day because of how many cows they have. So I went there, and I worked there, But they did have like 100 liters of raw milk a day. But they had to ship it to restaurants all of the time. So I had like I usually had like 4 liters of raw milk a day, but I had to pay for it, and often it was also like 3 liters of raw milk. It was like not enough, so I had to eat their normal food, like grains and shit like that. And as a primal dieter, I actually did this before too sometimes. As a primal dieter, I looked at their food like, okay, there's sugar, there's fucking, I don't know, fucking seeds, there is grains, there is this thing. And I actually just wanted to select for like cooked starch or maybe some cheese, which was their fake, not raw, unsalted cheese in ghee. And I was just selecting for the healthiest foods. I did that, and most of the time I just ate rice. There was nothing to eat but rice, and sometimes some cheese with ghee or whatever. I couldn't stand the work with not enough milk and just eating just rice. It felt so bad. I just started eating everything they ate, everything fried, sweet, sugar, whatever. I didn't care. I just ate everything, and I got bunch of acne from it, a ton of acne from it all over my body. And then what I noticed is when I brushed my hair, there was a lot of hair in the brush, way more than I ever had in my hair, in my brush when I brushed. And basically, I figured out from eating all this sugar and all of their garbage, I was like losing hair a lot when I brushed my hair. So I stopped eating these things and I went to raw milk only. And then the hair stopped appearing on my brush. So I proved to myself that eating garbage food makes my hair fall off, and not eating garbage food, eating raw milk, doesn't. So it wasn't even like a lack of raw meat and the nutrients which caused the hair loss. It was like specifically the sugar and the garbage, because I could only have raw milk with no meat and still not have any hair loss. So it was caused by toxicity rather than deficiency. What else? I'm kind of thirsty. Let me catch my calories or something. Skip ahead for like 20 seconds. So I eventually left this farm because I was unsatisfied with the lack of raw milk. And I thought to myself, man, I really enjoy living on a farm and working outside, not having to go to a normal job like a slave, and then getting food from the people I work for. It's really cool. Too bad I cannot have raw meat while doing this, because the Hare Krishna farms I can do this at are vegetarians. And then I immediately had like fucking news flash, and I was like, holy shit. I can do this thing. I can work on a farm like for the Hare Krishnas. Expect to do it on a farm which isn't run by Hare Krishnas. I can, instead of working on a Hare Krishna farm, I can just work on a regular farm where they eat raw meat, where they eat meat, where I can just eat raw meat there. And I was like, holy fuck! How the fuck did I not think of this before? Like I was always thinking, okay, so either I'm a slave who works a job and eat raw meat, or I can live on a farm and work outside, but then I have to sacrifice raw meat because Hare Krishnas are vegetarian. Why did I never fucking think of people who live on farms who are not fucking Hare Krishnas? So that's where I'm now. I'm working on this horse farm instead of having a job, and it's the best fucking decision of my life. Like, the second I realized that I never have to work a job and I can just live on a fucking farm and work for food and work outside, like a stone fell from my heart. Like, if I get 50 living this lifestyle and I cannot I don't have any pension because I never pay any taxes from working a job or something, then I will just fucking or move to a third world country in the tropics. Or I don't know, but living like this and then dying when I'm 50 because I don't have pension is way better than working like a slave on a normal job until I'm 60, honestly. At least for me, because I'm just I find it very hard to work a regular job because I see poison everywhere. Like when I worked in some plant, I was breathing in like plastics. When I worked in a restaurant, I was breathing in the dishwasher thing and touching receipts. When I worked in fucking supermarket, I was constantly under the blue light. Like every single job, I could find something problematic with it, which I didn't want to do. But on a fucking farm, like, where's the fucking negative? I don't fucking know. Like a good lifestyle. Yeah. So what you can do is like you can take a picture of yourself smiling and join every single farmer group on Facebook and post your picture of yourself smiling and looking really nice on every single farmer group on Facebook inside your country. And say you are looking somewhere where you can live and work at, ideally get some money and have some of your paycheck exchanged for raw milk or raw meat or something like that. And if you do this, then you can basically avoid you can avoid working 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. Or you can download the app which is called Workaway and do the same thing and look there, expect all over the world. So you can look like for farms in South America where you can just move to and they will let you live there if you work for them. Something like that. So yeah, I went to this farm, but actually the first guy who I worked on the field for, the first farm, who gave me all the raw milk which I wanted, even though he had little, which is cool. He told me, "Hey, bro, we have like a new job, and like we have." He moved on a different farm with more cows, and he had a bigger field. And he was like, "Hey, bro, I need you again. I need you to like do the bench press thing a million times a day in noon sunlight all of the time." And I was like, on this farm we build fences and do shit in the forest all the time, and I'm in the shade all the time. I would actually like to be on a field and get tan a lot. So I agreed to it. I left this farm. I went to this Hare Krishna farm to work on the field, and it was very fun. The sun was very strong, and I loved it. And yeah, then there was this festival, Ratha Yatra, which is basically, I don't know, like 500 or maybe 1,000 Hare Krishnas meet in a city. They have like a chariot, this big thing with their idols of like their god on them, and they have like hundreds of people have a rope, and they drag the chariot with a rope through the city. And when they do that, there are these monks with fucking drums and fucking I don't know how do you call it, harmoniums, just the pirate instrument, the one when you do like this thing, but electric, and then basically a lot of instruments, and they are just going before the chariot and singing into a speaker their mantra. They are like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The same words all over again, but they have like million different melodies in which they sing it as. Like they can sometimes go Hare Krishna, and then sometimes they go Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Sometimes they're like Hare Krishna, million fucking melodies, and they change them around to the point it sounds like really fucking good. And they have all these drums and these other instruments, and it's on a big ass fucking speaker, and it's heard from the whole city. And there are these hundreds of people around them singing Hare Krishna along with them. What they do is they sing, the monks with the instruments, they sing Hare Krishna, the mantra, the whole mantra, and then they stop, and then everyone else repeats the mantra in the same melody. So then you have like 300 people go Hare Krishna, and then everyone around dances. And the people who dance the most, they have like a mosh pit before the chariot, before the monks, where there are people who just jump around like Maasai and just dance like fucking, I don't know, junkies. Completely, it's so fucking psychedelic, the whole experience. They just dance into a fucking trance in these fucking Indic drums and other instruments, and in the hundreds of people chanting this religious mantra. Everyone just dancing to the point of fucking sweating a lot. Like, you see people with shirts as wet as if they fell into a lake, and it's all just sweat because it's in middle of a city built from concrete which traps heat on a fucking canoe in middle of summer, and it's over 30 degrees in the shade, and we are in the fucking city and the heat is being trapped into the concrete, and these people are just trancing while dancing in this fucking ecstasy. And each time I joined them in their mosh pit to like dance with them, I felt like psychedelic. I felt like my fucking brain was completely different. Like, if you take mushrooms or smoke weed or something, and you can feel your consciousness, like you can feel like you are not you are not observing this reality, but you feel like a consciousness observing yourself, observing this reality. This is what fucking happens in that mosh pit when you dance with these people, and this is very funny. Like, because in my story, I worked at this farm for like few days, and there was this festival, and I worked for like 8 hours the first day, and I overworked myself. And the next day, the boss came to me, okay, we are going to the festival later, but today you can still do some work before, like do this for 2 hours or something. And I'm like, bro, I worked too much yesterday, I have to get used to the work, I'm exhausted, I just can't. Like, I quit my meat and I only have milk now, I just need to adjust. I'm overworked. I can't. Too much. And then several hours later, my boss, after me saying that I cannot work because I'm overworked, I'm just tired, he sees me in that mosh pit jumping 2 meters into the fucking air. And everyone he meets, and he tells the story to, like, yeah, I met him on the farm in the morning. He was like, I'm too tired, I cannot work. And then I see him jumping 2 meters into the fucking air for 2 hours straight in the fucking mosh pit. It's very funny, yeah. Yeah, it was so fucking hot after it went for like 6 fucking hours, this dance. And I've had some raw milk in a car, and I drank no water during the 6 hours of, maybe less, but I would say like 6 fucking hours, maybe 5. 4 minimum, probably 5. It wasn't non-stop dancing. I would take pauses and go to shade, and then there was this festival after, which we didn't dance, but it was a lot of physical effort and a lot of heat. And I had a lot of raw milk in the morning, like 2 liters, so I was full of raw milk. And then during the whole thing, I didn't eat or drink anything. I didn't drink any water. And it was very hard, but it was actually manageable. I didn't feel the urge to drink water. I would just splash cold water over my ears and hair and stuff. But I wouldn't drink any water because it was in plastic. And actually on drinking 2 liters of raw milk and having no food, I was able to just do this thing for hours in this heat without drinking anything for half of the day. And then after, actually, I wanted to have some raw milk after the festival, but then I found out we are going home with a different car than the one I left raw milk in. So it was such a long time without raw milk. Oh, fuck. It was painful how dry I was, but it was actually manageable. I don't know, like, if I drank 2 liters of water in the morning that day, then I would be dead. I would be dead if I didn't drink any water. But drinking 2 liters of milk in the morning, then I could do this without any milk. It was manageable. It was unpleasant but manageable. But yeah, then I went and I digged into my work, and I did my bench press a million times a day. And I actually had a limit for raw milk, like 4 liters a day, because they didn't want to give everything to me because I drank too much, but I didn't respect that limit. Every time I could, I would go to the tank and I will drink more. And I drank around 5 or 6 liters of raw milk a day. And then I got pissed from no, I last time I had the pauses on the weekends. I could eat raw meat on the weekends, but this time I was only on there in there. I was I had no breaks. I had only milk for like a month straight, maybe less, like 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. Nothing but milk, and it was actually unpleasant at some point. So I started to eat like rice. I started to cook rice. But the thing is that I tried to play piano. I was learning piano on there because they had piano by chance, and I learned piano in the past in my school because I've seen a piano in my school. So instead of being on phone on the breaks or doing whatever, on every single break in the school, I will go to the piano and I will learn along from some YouTube video how to play some song. I will probably upload the songs which I can play on my YouTube. I don't know. And I noticed when I had only milk, it was fine. I could play the piano. I had no trouble learning. But when I started to eat the rice, I had a lot of trouble learning the piano. I couldn't focus, and when I could focus, but I was just making mistakes all of the time. Then I stopped eating the rice, and the mistakes stopped like happening. Like the carbohydrates probably fucked up my brain in some way, and made it way worse at learning or performing or something. And I really wanted to learn the piano, so I stopped eating rice, and I only had milk. So what I could do to drive away hunger, which didn't go away at all, ever, I drank a lot of raw milk, which ended up in me drinking up to, after hour of this video, we get to the title of this video, I drank like 7 liters of raw milk for a few days. Most of the days it was actually 5 to 6, but at several days I am sure I literally drank 7 liters of raw milk, or maybe more. And at this point, I just felt bad because I was urinating all of the time. I would drink raw milk, then urinate, and then not drink anything for like 4 hours while working. And then I would urinate again, even though I didn't drink anything after urinating the first time. I was urinating all of the time. I never actually woke up. When I was younger and I ate shit diet, then like most people, I woke up to go to the toilet. But on the primal diet, you never fucking wake up to go to the toilet. That's you have to have weak perineum or weak gallbladder or be completely sick on retarded diet to wake up and go to. Also, if you are primal and you wake up to pee, then sorry, then I'm not informed. But I never on the primal diet since starting the primal diet, and everyone I ask, like, no one wakes up to pee if you are on primal diet, and this applied to me too. But the thing is that when you drink 7 liters of raw milk a day, even though I didn't wake up in middle of the night to pee, when I did wake up in the morning to like wake up or whatever, then my bladder was just so full. It was like, it's like if you have a brutal diarrhea, which you need to run to the toilet to not shit yourself, then I would have that with peeing, and I would pee so much that my urine would be crystal clear, which is actually unhealthy. Like in the past, when I was younger, when I drank alcohol, I would think, oh, that's cool. I drink a lot of alcohol and my urine is like completely crystal clear. That's interesting. And then I drank a lot of water and I was like, oh yeah, drinking water is healthy. And now I have crystal clear urine from drinking too much water. That's cool. It looks nice. I will drink more water. But actually, what it means, if you have like crystal clear urine, it means that, your urine is basically your blood minus red and white blood cells plus ammonium, which repels red and white blood cells. When you drink too much water or too much liquid and you have crystal clear piss, it means that you are diluting yourself. It means that you are diluting your nutrients in your blood with water, and that you have more water and less nutrients in your blood. The more colored your piss is, like the more yellow and golden, green, whatever it is, the better. If it's like too yellow or too dark, then it probably means that you are dehydrated, whatever. But then you don't have enough water in your blood or your urine. But if it's crystal clear, it means that you are diluted. You are completely diluting yourself with too much water. And I had this. Like, I had crystal clear urine. It was very unpleasant. And I had it for days, and I just felt, this is unhealthy as fuck. I'm just fucking hurting myself with the amount of milk I'm drinking. I was overdosing on raw milk. And so eventually I cut it to like 4 liters or 5 liters a day, and I drank slower, and my urine actually returned to some color, actually, interestingly. Also, I ate some fruit, which maybe helped with that, because then we got some fruit, but not a lot. Anything else I could cover? Yeah, the farmer swore that I grew during the 2 weeks when I was there. I don't know, maybe. A lot of sunlight and grounded all the time because I worked on the field with no shoes. And I drank a lot of raw. Maybe I grew, maybe it was. I don't know, a lot of people tell me that it looks like I grew each time they meet me after a long period of time. Maybe I'm just too tall or something, and it just automatically appears as if I grew even if I didn't. But I don't know, maybe I grew like a few millimeters when they're spamming raw milk. But yeah, I never want to do that again. It was very unpleasant. And yeah, another thing which I noticed is that when I wake up on the raw primal diet, provided I slept enough hours, when I slept 7-8 hours, and I wake up after a day of eating raw meat, I wake up, and if I don't want to go back to sleep, then I can just get up, and I'm up, I'm going, I'm ready to go. I just can take my clothes on and straight away go to work. I'm warmed up after I wake up. When normal people, when they wake up, they need to lay in bed, even though they don't want to go back to sleep, but they need to wait in bed for fucking 20 minutes or something. They want to lay there. Then they need coffee. And then they are slow, like, just woke up, oh, I'm tired. I never have that on the raw primal diet. I just wake up and let's go. When normal people are like, just woke up, waking up, charging or whatever. When I drank raw milk only and I had no raw meat, I was like these normal people. When I woke up after not eating raw meat, I would actually want to stay in bed and go and wake up and charge myself up. I wasn't ready to go, just like if I ate raw meat. It took me a lot more to charge up. And also I think I slept more. It could be because I worked a lot physically, that could be influenced, okay. But I still think that days I eat more raw meat, especially organs, I sleep less. And days when I eat no raw meat and I only drink milk, I sleep like an hour longer on average. So that's the thing. What else? So yeah, after coming back from this farm, you can imagine how much fun I've had being able to eat raw meat again. A lot of fun. It's a luxury, complete luxury to be able to eat raw meat and to consume something else than 7 liters of raw milk a day. It's a luxury and I'm grateful for it. But I believe this is where the story ends so far. Sometimes I could probably make like critique of why the Hare Krishna religion, why I don't like it, because the Vedas, the sacred Indian religious texts, which Hare Krishna religion claims to be based upon, literally contains passages of animal sacrifice and consuming meat, but they ignore it. But yeah, whatever. This is where the story ends, I suppose. I hope you had fun. If you want more fun stories, or you like my voice, or are a female and like how my body looks or something, then you can give me a subscribe, I guess. And if you give me a subscribe, then click on the bell button, because no one ever checks their subscriptions. You only check your notifications from the bell buttons. And if you want to like meet friends who eat raw meat, or just talk with people who eat raw meat, then I started this like guild / community of people who eat raw meat. It's called Raw Meat Guild. It's on school, And I'm not going to bullshit you. It costs money, and if you pay it, then I get the money. Basically, I'm telling you to pay me money. But what the thing is that it's a group designed for people who eat raw meat to find friends in real life. Basically, school offers this feature, this like map feature, where you can see, you can set on your profile, you can set your location on Earth, so that when you go to my group with raw meat eaters in there, you can see the Earth's map, and you can see like every single member in my group who decides to share their location. You can see a dot on the map on Earth where that member is. And my goal is to have enough members in that group so that people who eat raw meat in every single country on Earth can find friends in that country, and that we can host like meetups in every single country on Earth, and probably eventually start like real life communities and homesteads or parties which travel the world together and go to third world countries and the tropics together or whatever. Basically, I want to get raw meat people to connect in real life. It's not free, because it's explained why it's not free in that product itself. But if you actually wanted like a community of people who eat raw meat, then there are groups on Discord or Telegram for people who eat raw meat where you can chat. Like one Discord which I'm aware of, I'm not in there, I'm not even in that Discord, but the guy who made it is really cool and I like his content. There's this YouTuber, he's called like Resident Raw, and he makes really good quality content about edginess. And I've heard he has like some Discord, and he has like people in there, they talk in there. I don't know, if you want, I will link it below. If you want some free Discord or whatever to chat with raw meat eaters, then I will link that Resident Raw guy's Discord below. And if you want to be part of a group where there will be real life meetups and connections and networking, whatever, in real life eventually, then you can join my school group. And that's it. So eat raw meat, get tan, and grow your hair out.
Okay, how are you? Are you having a good day today?
A very good day, thank you.
Fantastic.
It's still early in the day here.
Oh, great. And the weather is pretty good.
It's sunshiny today in a clear sky.